Hi, it's Marnix. Recently, in a challenge to join my fellow DFXL velomobile rider, his name is Felix Hohina, right here in New Zealand. And the challenge was to ride a 260 kilometre course around Brunner together with him in 2019. Now, the longest ride I had ever done in my velomobile, or for that matter, of fact, on a bicycle, was 101 kilometers. So for this video I decided to ride half of that distance of the enduro event around Brunner, which is 130 kilometers. I had about 4 hours up my sleeve, so I wanted to have I wanted to have an average speed of 31 kilometers an hour or higher. Now, the reason I wanted to get 31 kilometers an hour or higher was to equal or even better the average speed that Felix was able to achieve over a 300 kilometer enduro event that he did in Taranaki recently. So I decided to head south on one of the highways here that slowly rises, and I wanted to not use my electric assist unless, of course, there was like any significant hills that I would have to climb. However, there was only really one such place, and that was at the 59 kilometer point, sort of around halfway. The velomobile was pretty full, and it's largely just because I hadn't really fussed over what to take along, just so that I could get going. So I was carrying probably several kgs worth of just stuff. Now, the ride to the halfway point was a little bit slow for my liking, but not too difficult. I kind of just stuck to using the easy gears, and I kept my cadence to approximately 86 RPM. However, the suspension was fantastic, making the ride quite comfortable. Although, of course, sitting in the same position for such a long time can get a little bit uncomfortable after a while. So I manoeuvred myself around in the velomobile in order to just get comfortable. Now, in the process of doing that, I actually found out that a velomobile has this advantage. You can move the steering mechanism around and still ride, and that way you can get comfortable. So I rode most of the ride just using one hand to steer. Now, during this ride I had a bit of a chance to think about why there was such a little difference in speed between the two time trials that I made a video of recently. Now, I think from a bit of research and so forth that the Bafang motor that I have has some built-in limits, where if I reach maybe a certain cadence or possibly a certain speed, that at that stage the motor starts assisting less, and that would explain why I can ride about 43 to 45 kilometers per hour like consistently for about a 50 kilometer distance, but when I try and race over a shorter distance, I still have a similar average speed. Now, I've had a little look, and I think, to my knowledge, it's possible to reprogram the Bafang system using a cable and a PC, but under the same sort of people talking about that sort of thing, it looks like it might actually risk some sort of unnecessary wear or possibly damage the electric assist system. I was delighted to see how well my battery did. I started the ride without using it, but I did use it on maximum all the way back from sort of the halfway point.
Well, I've reached my halfway point now. I've got to turn back around and head back, so this is all the time I had in order to have a ride. So I did all the way up here, which was mostly going up hills, just on a slight gradient, without using any electric assist. Now I'm going to have the fun of going down most of the way with a downhill gradient with the electric assist, so hopefully it'll be a lot quicker and I'll get my average to over 31k an hour. Okay, that's all for now.
I think because the ride back was mostly downhill that the electric assist was barely being used, even though I had it on maximum assist. But I still achieved the average speed that I was after, and the digital display that I have inside the velomobile at the end of the ride was actually still indicating a full battery. This is good news, because I think that means in a 260 kilometer ride I should be able to still use the electric assist to achieve my 31 kilometer per hour average speed that I'm after, just using my one 17 amp hour battery. Now, there were a few hazards on this particular ride. At times on the side, there was a lot of unsealed gravel, just on the shoulder of the road where I tend to ride, and this causes me to lose the full steering capability. I sort of skid around a little bit, just for a short time. And the other thing that I noticed was when I had oncoming cars being overtaken from their end, and it happened right next to me, and that was actually quite scary. Having a car coming toward you at most likely over 100 kilometers an hour on my side of the lane, well, that was very scary. Now, I know that those car drivers actually saw me, but they went to overtake anyway. I would have hated for a gust of wind or something like that to have pushed me just a little bit to the side, and well, that could have ended in some real tragedy. And now I think that having the race cap on was very good for battery conservation, and well, it obviously kept me out of the rain, but it also actually made it quite warm inside. So to alleviate this, I kept my visor just slightly open, and that allowed the breeze to come in, and it kept me cool. And that, along with the vent in the front of my DFXL, actually made the ride very nice. And I had no fogging problems at all. Now, at the end of the ride, these were the statistics that I got from my bicycle computer. My distance that I rode was 130 kilometers. The average speed that I managed to get through that was 32.6 kilometers per hour. The maximum speed I did during that trip was 73.2 kilometers per hour, and well, it took the pretty much the 4 hours that I was after. And at the end, like I said earlier, my battery level was still indicating full. I'm sure it wasn't full, but it still indicated that way. So I'll need to do more long distance rides to prepare myself for the around Brunner ride. So I hope to be able to make some more videos about those. Hey, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.
I thought it might be interesting just to show you all the extra stuff that I carried today. I didn't really fuss too much about what I had in there, but I had to bring some spare tyres, so I'll just show you what I've got. I brought along some snacks just in case I wanted to eat something, and this is filled with like Allen keys and some maintenance sort of stuff. It's reasonably heavy. I also brought along my backpack, which has got the spare tyres and wallet and that sort of thing in there, and also a bottle of water, and then also have my laptop there, which is charging my camera for the long distance time lapse. And then you can see on the back there I've got a couple of spare wheels, or tyres should I say, just in case. Probably didn't need to, but yeah, it's the biggest ride I've had yet, so I just don't want to take any chances. Okay, well that's all for now, this time. Hope you enjoy the video.